And welcome back to the Daily Buzz. He's a screenwriter, a filmmaker, an author, an actor.
And just an awesome guy.
Stephen Kelly. And,
Oh my gosh.
And a Santa Claritan.
I am.
By
I
way
am
of
local.
New York.
Yeah,
right?
by the way of New York. Yeah.
How'd you wind up out here, by the way?
For acting and writing. Actually, I came out here in the 90s. I worked for Planet Hollywood when it was the thing, right?
Wow. Sure.
Yeah, I was Mr. Bartender guy.
Yeah.
And I had a job in D.C. And I'm like, I want to be an actor and a writer. So do I go back to New York, or do I come out here to California? So there was a job opening down in Costa Mesa where they were based. I applied for it. They go, dude, you're not going to get it. There'll be 1,000 people applying, all local. I got the job. I'd never been out here. I had to be out here in like 10 days. So I packed my car up, drove 4 days. And so I had a job at least. So I'm living in Newport Beach, living the life. And,
Right.
you know, New York guy living on PCH. And so,
love this.
having a job. But I didn't know anybody.
Right.
I'd never been west of Texas.
Wow.
So it was like, okay.
Culture shock,
Yeah.
to say the least, right?
So we had a meeting one morning, and I'm Mr. like East Coast guy, and this is in the 90s, right? So I walk in, I'm wearing like a Leatherman jacket and like loafers, and they're like, "Oh, look, it's Chachi." So they call me Chachi for like 2 years. The young people don't know what I'm talking about, but you guys do.
Look
we
up
do.
Happy Days and then
Scott Baio.
Yeah,
was-
of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Hey, Chachi. I'm like, oh, come on, dude. Knock it off.
I love stories like that where it's like a grab and go. You know, I grabbed and I went and I lived life and you don't know what to expect. And you've become so accomplished. I want to thank you for visiting us again this morning because
My pleasure.
you
Thank
have so much great information to share with us. You're here to talk about Pints with Kelly, so I'd love to hear you talk about that. But we also want to talk about your book and all the other great things you have to offer.
Great.
Do you mind?
Sure, for sure. So, Pints with Kelly, sometimes when there's tragedy in your life, good things come out of it. So, in 2017, my brother was living in Las Vegas, was in an accident, hit his head. So, I drove out there and saw him. He was in a hospital for 3 days. And it was pretty dire. He was in a coma. So, third day, doctor said, look, we're going to do a series of procedures on your brother. If he doesn't respond, then we have to make a decision. I said, okay. They did the 3 procedures. He didn't respond. So it's a small little hospital room, 2 doctors, 3 nurses, and they did the procedure. My brother went and passed. And I said, I just felt compelled to say it. I go, look, you guys do this for a living. You rinse and repeat. You treated me and my brother like you knew us, like we were family. I said, you will forget my name and face, but I won't forget your faces. And with that, one of the nurses came over and gave me a hug, and it was very emotional. So that's 2017. So that was in my head, in my mind. At that point, I was not acting anymore because I was working. In 2022, I did a play here at the Canyon Theater, and then got back into acting. So I'm working out with a buddy of mine who's also a fireman, and we talk about work here and there, and he's same thing, how they save people's lives. And I said, do you realize that when you go there and you do a procedure on someone, they're not going to forget your face? And he's like, yeah, I guess so, because they just rinse and repeat, right? So I got my brother, I have that. My brother-in-law, LA City fireman, same thing. So I literally came to, I'm interested in people with a calling and how they answer it. So I have a friend back east who I went to high school with, who's my swim coach. His name is Jim McGlynn. He became a battalion chief. He joined the fire department at 30, right, which is old. Most guys in New York, 21, you go right in. He was the last fireman out of the second tower in 9/11, the last.
Oh.
Wow.
He was in 5 hours of darkness. So my brother-in-law, the guy I work out with, same thing. So I go back, I reach out to Jim, and I say, listen, I want to do something. I want to talk to you about your calling, answering your calling at 30 years old. It really wasn't about 9/11 because I don't want to capitalize off of that. I worked in the World Trade Center. I have friends that passed away in the World Trade Center, went to high school with, so on and so forth. So we went back and forth on it because these guys are very private. The three of us could be at a bar tonight talking about 9/11, and Jim could be sitting next to us and wouldn't say a word.
Right.
They're very private. They don't talk about it. So I went back to New York to promote a film, and I met Jim. I hadn't seen him in at least 15 years. I said, look, this is what I want to do. It's important. It's really bigger than you. It's bigger than us. Are we doing this, yes or no? And I put my hand out, and he shook. So we filmed it in New York, in Tarrytown. It was at a bar setting. That's why Pints With Kelly. It's not literal, but it made sense. I'm Irish. He's Irish. We both went to school in the Bronx. Very powerful story. It's about 50 minutes, and I've entered it in film festivals. It's won a lot of awards. One of the nicest things I've heard was there are guys that follow me on Instagram that are Irish. They have to be like 30. They're young, right? They saw the film. They had a quote, "You don't have to be American to appreciate this. You don't have to be from New York. You just have to be human." These are guys who are 5 years old when
Right.
9/11 happened. They're also not American. So it's been tremendous. Again, my thing when it comes to Pints with Kelly is people that have a calling and how they answer it. And then now this goes back to my book, The Adventures of Rex and Daisy. So this was actually before I had filmed. I filmed Pints with Kelly, the first one, in January 25 in New York.
And where can we find that, by the way, Stephen?
It's on YouTube.
Okay.
It's on YouTube.
Now your book.
My book. So I'm at the gym one day, and I look over, and there's this woman, Jessica Scorsa, from Agape Village, working out with young adults, like special needs adults. I'm like, okay, wow, okay. We're all kind of like, okay, that's kind of cool. Next week, see her again. See her again. She's super focused on the kids, right? Not talking to anybody. So it must have been a month. I saw her on a Saturday by herself working out. I went up to her and I said, listen, I've seen what you're doing. I mean, I'm compelled to tell you that's fantastic. So I said, I have a book, The Adventures of Rex and Daisy. Henry does his best. It's really cute, has really cute illustration, has a
It
good
is
message.
adorable.
Thank you. And I said, I'd love to come by and drop a book off. Again, I didn't know anything about Agape Village. I didn't know anything about what they do. So I went, dropped the book off, took a picture with her, got to know her a little bit. And then literally I'd filmed, this was like fall, this was winter of 24. January 25, I filmed Pints with Kelly, the first episode. I literally went from that to, well, wait a minute, people with a calling. My gosh, the people at Agape Village, working with these young adults, giving them a vocation, the way they interact with one another. So I approached them because they're a nonprofit. You know, they're here. You guys know them.
Right.
And I said, look, this is the concept I want to do. This is what I've done. I let them watch Pints with Kelly. They understood it. And they said, you know what? Come by on a Friday, because they do a Friday event where the young adults make coffee at their
Yes.
center right there. And it's really cool, and people show up. I went. I spent 4 hours there, guys. It was hard for me to keep it in because it was so emotional seeing how they all interact with one another, right? The love, the respect, the hugs. Jessica must have got 50 hugs in 2 hours, right? It's incredible. It was overwhelming. And she even told me, you're going to be overwhelmed by this, because I personally don't have anyone in my family that have had these issues, or I don't have any friends, so I'm completely ignorant to it.
Right.
So after seeing what these people do, I'm like, oh my God, this absolutely falls in that lane of talking to people with a calling and how they answer it. I mean, the patience level is what we have times 10.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Just working with these young adults.
What we have, I have not. So, no, I know what you mean.
So
it takes a special
yeah.
personality.
So hopefully, have to fundraise for it, because I'm an independent filmmaker. I'll reach out to local businesses. Hopefully, we'll do it maybe this fall, or if not, we'll do it Q1 of 27. But this story has to be told. And the same thing I told them, this is bigger than you guys because there are people doing this all over the world. And I talked to a family that morning. They're dropping off their young adults. They call them clients. They're clients there. And we start talking, and retired sheriff in his 60s. Okay, great. Has a daughter that goes there. His thing was, what's going to happen in 20 years?
Right.
Right? These are things that, because in the school system, there is a place for them. When I do readings for Rex and Daisy, invariably every other class, maybe there'll be a special needs child in some various degree.
Right.
Right? But there might be nonverbal, there might be other issues, but the school system's there to take care of them. But what happens when they're 18?
You know, so it sounds to me like Pints with Kelly is just another way that you're making a huge impact and trying to get people's story told, so that the rest of us, when we share it and view it, we are able to get some encouragement and maybe some awareness of, like you said, things that we didn't even know existed.
Yeah.
What is the best way to support that? Where can we find it on social media, fundraising?
So I think the best way would be to watch the first episode. It's on YouTube. If you look up Stephen Michael Kelly, my name will come up, and then you'll see my YouTube page.
Okay.
And then you'll see Pints with Kelly, the first episode. If you watch that, you'll get you really get a real good sense of what it's about. And then I'm also on Instagram, and I've posted stuff with Agape Village in conjunction, done a press release. So if you reached out to Agape Village, if you reached out to me in terms of YouTube, I'm on Instagram. Stephen Kelly, Actor Official is my Instagram. You can reach out to me there. It's really about the community here, right? And the great thing would be, once we film this, we're going to have a premiere at a theater or maybe a church,
Right.
where everyone involved can be part of this and celebrate it. I'm telling you, to me, it's about legacy. What's our legacy going to be? My legacy is going to be as a father, as a husband, doing Pints with Kelly, doing The Adventures of Rex and Daisy. I do other projects, like I do movies and stuff. I wrote a novel, which is completely different. But to me, that's our legacy,
Right.
that we're going to leave behind.
Well, Stephen, thanks for coming in and sharing
Thank
that
you.
with us. We appreciate that.
Thank you so
Stephen
much.
Kelly, our guest. Check out Pints with Kelly on YouTube. You'll be able to find it there. And thank you so much. We
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. All right. We'll be right back.